Morning, everyone. It's Promise Odera again. I watched the Honest Bunch podcast yesterday, and the legendary Nollywood actor Chief Kanayo um, spoke very well. In fact, he he even spoke on topics that are very sensitive in Nigeria. Um, of course, being an Igbo man, he understands the plight of Igbos in Nigeria, and he spoke on them, spoke on what it meant to be an Igbo man, what it meant to be a Nigerian, and also spoke on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Questions was asked on P2B and the rest. But one thing I want to speak to, he called for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which also there are petition or a document signed by about 50 lawmakers across Nigeria asking for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I mean, he's the only one that has not been released. El Sasaki has been released. Sunday Buha has been released. Sowore has gotten his passport back. Except for Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of governors have asked for Nnamdi Kanu to be released to end the Monday sit at home and, so that Nigeria can move forward, economically speaking, because banks, schools, everything are shut on Mondays, and it's hampering our economic growth. So he spoke on that, and I know the expectation that Mr. Tinubu should release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and I'm adding to that call. But I also want to bring to people's knowledge why it is proving difficult for Tinubu to do that. You see, when the End Sars started as a very organic wildfire that spread in Nigeria. And some people thought it was going to be like a revolution. So, it was happening in the West, it was happening in the North, it was happening almost across across the whole federation. The youth, of course, everybody knows what End Sars meant. People are complaining of how police brutality, has been very profound in Nigeria. So, Nnamdi Kanu supported the youth while that protest started, while it was going on, right? He supported the youth, and he was telling the youth to go to Bodleian, right? To go, because, Tinubu is a godfather. And the consequences of that End Sars was meted on Tinubu. In fact, they were direct, receivers of that End Sars protest, because End Sars was at Lekki Toll Gate, which was owned by, his son Sheyi, and also, the youth were encouraged by Nnamdi Kanu to go to Bodleian. In fact, when the youth got to the gate, news had it that Tinubu flew away that night to France on his private jet. So when people got the news, or even Nnamdi Kanu got the news on radio, then he was saying, "Oh, he has left the country." And all this is happening. Nobody knew that one day Tinubu would be president, so you could understand. You could understand. So now Tinubu now flew back into the country and claimed that, of course, that was all lies, that he never left the country, right? To show that he's not afraid. Consequently, everything died down. You know what happened? The soldiers shot at the people. When people started losing their lives, those that were able to, the DJ, the girl that was recording. In fact, I heard she's not in Nigeria anymore. Now, when all of that happened, people had to back down because nobody wants to lose their life. When they were with the Nigerian flag, people were still shot. And that brought the end to that End Sars, as it were. And inquiry was done. End Sars was abolished, but then they brought out swap or whatever. Now, because of that event, I will find it very hard to believe, unless Tinubu shows a very high level of magnanimous benevolence or kindness or forgiveness. If he has a large heart, that is the only way he will leave he will forget, he will forgive Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So that is why I strongly believe that Tinubu will not release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But for what is what, Julian Assange, the Australian journalist that WikiLeaks that leaked some secret documents of America, have been released. He's been released on bail. He's been granted bail, and out of 19 count charge, or 18 has been dropped. So the only one that they've left is that this is somebody that's been hiding in an embassy in the UK for very, very long time, for a lot of years, because he came out. So, oh my goodness, America would have, a long time by him. But he was there. At some point, the UK had to give him up, and they tried him. So that news coming out now that he's been released is a very, very massive news. But again, they're still going to put him in prison for that one count charge of, obtaining and disclosing, government documents or something like that. So he's going to go into jail for like 62 months because they're taking into account that he has been in hiding for a very long time. So if people like Julian Assange could receive, a lighter sort of treatment compared to what is expected, I believe anybody could be forgiven by a state. So I'm saying this to say, Tinubu has proven his point. Nobody knew he was going to win. It wasn't as if Nnamdi Kanu supported P2B or anything, or knew that P2B could win or whatever. But he was just being, the kind of person he was. He wanted to see change. He was politically motivated. He was almost fighting both Igbos. I was everybody. Nnamdi Kanu fights everybody. Abroad, he fights Oyibo, he fights almost everybody. So he's not a tool that was used against anybody or any tribe, But essentially, the point remains that if government is working, all these dissenting voices will not be there. That is the fact, And again, the marginalization that the Igbos are saying that has been meted on them after supporting PDP for 16 years, power shifted to APC. There is no clause now for zoning. Even an Igbo man doesn't even know if he'll ever be president in Nigeria. And the little things they're asking for, ports, infrastructure, none of that has been granted to them. Federal roads are abandoned and all of that. So there's something that KOK said that is quite, touching. He said that he has a friend, that is a governor's wife. And while he was speaking to the governor's wife, they were speaking Igbo. But at some point, the governor's wife said, let's speak English. That the husband was coming in, which meant that, or explained that, she explained to him that the reason because that they're not allowed to do anything Igbo. They're not allowed to speak Igbo, which is what I've been trying to say to people before. Like, it's as if it's a taboo to be an Igbo man in Nigeria. It's as if it's a taboo. Even though Igbos are very, very, like, you will find out that Igbos speak other people's language more than any other people speak Igbo. An Igbo man can speak Yoruba fluently, speak Hausa, sometimes speak different languages because they are well traveled, they settle, they build house, they integrate. But all these things, we are still being heavy-handed, heavily booted. If you go to Igbo land, you will see a lot of police checkpoints, a lot of military. It's as if we're still in Cold Wars, so to speak. And I believe it's high time we trash all of these things for easy cohesion. So that people that are coming up will not start coming up and asking the same questions that some of us asked. Why are we hated so much? Everybody is still trying to find out the reason. Some people have said it's because of our economic prowess. Some people said it was because of the coup. Some people think it's different reasons. But ultimately, if we really want to have nation building, if we really want to have cohesion, we need to sort of let everybody feel like they are part of this thing called One Nigeria. If truly we want to One Nigeria. And if you don't want Nigeria, allow them to go. If you don't trust them enough, allow them to go. So this is, me saying, for whoever watches this and have access to Tinubu, we know that Nnamdi Kanu probably wronged you. He has exhausted all means. In fact, he's representing himself. He's asking for out-of-court settlement. He's been there very long. He's tired. He's human. It has gotten to him. You've broken him, maybe. But please, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It will do your government more good. Because whether you like it or not, the Igbos are the economic power of Nigeria. The Northerners are the ones feeding the nation. And the Yorubas are the well-educated ones. So you have to understand your power and where you come in. And if you try to push this side down, the more you are doing it, you are harming yourself as well. So that's why the economy is the way it is. And some people might be bold, like Chief KOK, to speak it. Some people might not even mention the topic. A lot of people try to stay away from this whole discussion so that they are not called tribalistic or, tagged with more hate. And that is why you see people from River State, people from other parts saying they are not Igbo. Meanwhile, their names are Igbo, right? I could understand Ikwere. Ikwere means, do you agree? Ikwego, Ikwere, Ikweho means I don't agree. So Ikwere, the word Ikwere means, do you agree? So River people, just like I said, the people have said, are Igbos. So Rotimi Amaechi tried to deny his place so that, he will help the Northerners with the agenda. They used him to fight Goodluck, his brother. He was fighting dirty with the Goodluck's wife. And then to what? Today he's just an ordinary lawyer shouting, my Lord, my Lord. So, for us to know where you come from. Just like Senator Abaribe said, no matter how you try to deny who you are, the Northerners will always classify you because they know that all of us are Igbo. When after the Civil War, a lot of Igbos were denied their possessions and returned to 20 pounds. A lot of people denied their Igbo so that they don't lose what they have. A lot of people denied their Igbo because they don't want to participate, in the punishment. And that's why you have families like the Ojukus changing their name to Damascus, like in the case of Stella Damascus. In her interview said that, her surname was Ojuku and not Damascus. So, it is high time we try to understand that history is always bad, But then at the end of the day, as bad as it may, we have to find a way to forge ahead. We're in 2024. Let everybody have a sense of belonging and try and get past this thing that has been holding us back for so many years. This thing that has been holding us back for so many years. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let's have this national cohesion and national building, and let's get somewhere. And I believe, I like the fact that the southern governors have now created a forum where Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State is now their chairman, with Professor Soludo as the vice or deputy. That's good. The Northerners are very well ahead when it comes to politics. The Northern governors are always having their forum and speaking with one voice. The South are now emulating. And we need to do that because 2027, it might be free for all. It might be anybody that wins. And you know what it is? APC does not have zoning. So, PDP, I don't know what's going on. Even Labour Party is in chaos. So everybody needs to put hand on deck, because it's still better for a Southerner to win and complete 8 years than, of course, for Northerner to win. And I'm hearing that they are beginning to gang up, for 2027. So, be it as it may, I wish good luck to all the Southern governors. They should be pragmatic, they should be diplomatic, and let's start from releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and returning peace to the South, to the whole South, to be fair. In fact, the whole Nigeria. And I believe, with prayers and good works, Nigeria can start to get better, because it's really, really sad. One bag of rice is like 90,000 naira. All right. Thank you, and God bless. Bye-bye.